Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, happy Friday to those that are joining early.
Oh, how's your day, man?
It's good. It's very good. Don't have too much on my personal plate. Pushed a update to orbit kind of late last night, and it's a long time coming. It's a total quality of life update. It's kind of the interesting thing that we're all aware of being at orbit is pushing something to beta, and we had a deadline on us from the foundation, and being happy with what we got out to beta, but fully knowing that like nothing is in its finished or perfect state, and we're basically in a constant state of optimizing and improving and getting it to be like what our vision for the platform is. That takes time because we're a small team, but we're passionate and we're hungry for it. So it it's a lot of work for all of us. I think we're all putting in at least 8 hours a day. We're definitely putting in more than 8 hours a day, but it doesn't feel like work, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best when you, especially when you have great colleagues, just to yeah, that you know that they have your back and you have theirs. It's the best feeling. And afterwards, the work to be crushed, is becomes outside of the time realm, if I can put it that way. And that's where you unlock like beyond work type feeling. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's just like a unified small team that all has the same vision and the same hunger for the end product. It's great. It's really exciting. Let me poke around and make sure that I'm not missing anything from the pins. I guess I'll post a little sneak peek on my personal real quick. Joe, how's your Friday going?
It's great. It's great. Fridays usually, well, team will meet up in the morning. They're in Europe, so it's the evening and Friday evenings in Europe. We've kind of made it so that the guys can have some family time. So that's good. So typically on Friday, um, my day kind of wraps up around now. Stephanie gets off early on Fridays at the hospital, so um, she's actually doing a workout, and then we're going to hang out. She has a work Christmas party tonight, which is kind of early in the season, but it's nice to have those out of the way.
Yeah, totally. I feel like I'm gearing up for the holiday responsibilities. Those are coming so soon. It always kind of slips away at the end of the year.
Well, my parents divorced when I was young, so and they live out of town, and Stephanie's parents live out of town. So 3 weekends in December are isolated for family time, and then we try to do something together. We really don't buy each other a bunch of gifts. We try to go somewhere new, local, drivable, and spend a weekend together for memories rather than material items. So December's pretty much nonstop madness for us.
Yeah, I feel that. My parents split when I was, I think, in third grade. Definitely was a youngin when it happened. So I hear that. I hear then you got to kind of allocate time and bandwidth to two fams essentially over time, and as those kind of empires get built up, and then yeah, you got to show up. All right, so pretty insane week in Hedera, I'd say. I mean,
Yeah,
the the Vanguard announcement, there's definitely people that are choosing to be hypercritical about it and refusing, in my opinion, to look at the long-term vision of what something like that is. Like being critical of it and gate, not necessarily doubting, but just questioning the impact of big news like this, totally healthy, totally a big fan of that. But at the same time, it's like this is kind of unprecedented stuff happening for crypto networks. Um, and it's kind of hard for me being in crypto as long as I have to finally see things like this happen and not just look at the long-term trajectory and see the innate value that is happening in something like this and in these partnerships and these arrangements happening. And Vanguard, $11 trillion in funds and user funds, and they just opened up 5 crypto ETFs. Only 5 out of all of the popular, totally valuable networks they could have chosen. HBAR made the cut, and it's just kind of not. It's, in my opinion, it's not the time to be critical of things like this. I think the turnout of decisions like this doesn't even get shown. We don't even see that really for months, if not years. But a new investment vehicle opening up into our crypto network that we all love and we're all married into, in my opinion, is like a fundamentally strong thing that is now available to the Hedera network, and it's awesome. It's really, really
It really
exciting.
is. Yeah, it really is. Again, just a clear showcase as to everything that we've been doing and wanting and needing in the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, plus inside the ecosystem is slowly taking fruition. It's just that those things, like elements, do take time, often more time than we'd want, like maybe as a consumer, as a user, of course. But once it's implemented, it's rock solid. And big shout out to all the teams that made it possible, because again, that's a clear showcase as to the network is serious, and from the ground up, from the bottom up, and from the up to bottom too, man. Because Vanguard, 11 trillion is no joke. So that's bullish because we have great talents inside the ecosystem, retail and enterprise level, and that's again a clear showcase that this is a serious network that's being taken seriously also outside the ecosystem. That's super awesome.
Yeah, well said. What's up? We got Shady, Fly, Abdul, Higher Grounds, HBAR All In, all of the legends pulling up. Love to see that.
Oh yeah, thanks for being here, guys.
So before we dive into kind of the rest of the exciting things happening on the network, we'll start with what's going on at Orbit, and then we'll transition over to HashPack happenings. So last night we pushed a pretty comfy quality of life update. We call it fuzzy search. It's the ability to search for any token by its symbol, its name, its EVM address, its contract address. That's the end game goal for a search engine, is you can type in anything and you'll be able to pull up what you're looking for. So that was a long time coming. We're very happy that we were able to get it pushed out. Me and Warlock, I don't know, he pinged me at like 8 p.m. last night, and then we were going back and forth on how to improve the experience for about 2 hours. And what's currently live on Orbit, we're very happy with. We're not even if I say something like we're very happy with it, it's not done by any means, but it's closer to our vision for how it should be and how it should function within Orbit, and that makes us feel good. There's going to be a lot more kind of continuous optimizing within Orbit. I think beta is going to last quite some time. There's not necessarily anything being gated behind beta, and the fuzzy search was actually our first item that we've been able to cross off from our road to TGE for our token. And if you're not aware, last month we announced that we will be doing our token in 2026. And in our Discord, in that announcement, we shared kind of our internal reasons for why we believe that it's just not the right time to drop the token on the Orbit ecosystem this early. The app has a mountain of stuff that we want to optimize and get better. And putting a token out doesn't actually assist with that. If anything, having an app that stands on its own and turns heads and is sticky then allows that token, like users holding that token, have innately more confidence in holding it because they can see the product and they can see what they're holding. Essentially, right now it's like, okay, I'm holding tokens for an app in beta. Not speaking as me, but as a user, I might identify that the app isn't quite there yet. So maybe I'll just dump my tokens and buy back if this company, proves themselves. That's totally valid. We're just kind of identifying that it's not the right time for that. So let us kind of pave the way and do what we know we need to do. before we drop that token. But that being said, we were able to get our first item off of the road to TGE, and that road to TGE really is the checklist for the token. It's not our internal checklist for features we want to put out. It's not TGE isn't being gated behind beta. There's a very real chance that TGE happens while we keep Orbit in beta. There's a lot of flexibility that we can have by staying in beta. So we're not pressured by the fact we're in beta. It just gives us breathing room to continue to make Orbit that much better without kind of claiming or putting the stamp of this is finished. Yeah, we just don't really need to do that yet. And we know we're not supposed to.
To be quoting the almighty Kobe, job's not finished, right? That's
Yeah, job's totally not finished.
Yeah.
So with that being said, that's kind of the most recent thing that we pushed to Orbit.
That's awesome.
We are changing. We've been shifting gears down for December. There's a fair amount of like in-house, I call it housework, that we need to do internally to get more organized so that we can hit 2026 in a much stronger position. We've brought in some developers throughout this year to assist us with sprints. And every time we did it, we kind of hit some friction because right now the Orbit stack is essentially Warlock running the front end and JBuild's running the back end. And that's great because they know exactly what they're doing, except that when we bring someone in, they don't know how this works because it's built in a very esoteric way that only really needs to make sense to two people. And that does not allow for comfy developer onboarding. So we're building out kind of a proper onboarding flow for hires and just, again, housework that we know we need to do. Like we basically hit the ground running at the start of the year. And I'm not going to say we cut corners, but we opted out of doing certain good things to keep ourselves organized just to be able to meet deadlines and to get beta out. And now we're hitting a point where 2026 is looking really thick and there's a ton on our plate. And the only way that, yeah, I just had to tell Weston and the team, like, I think we need to do our part as co-founders to set up this team for success rather than, continuing to prioritize features that we want to get out. Those features, we're still going to want to get them out, but I think we're at a point as the year ends where we can just position ourselves to hit 2026 stronger. So we will be kind of focusing on some housework stuff for the rest of this month. I'm glad we were able to get Fuzzy Search out before end of the year and knock something off our road to TGE before the end of the year. I don't anticipate too many features getting pushed for the rest of this month. Warlock might surprise us. The dude's kind of down to do Batman hours. So if he sends us a ping in the team Discord at 3 a.m, then great, something got pushed at 3 a.m.
I love it. Batman hours.
Joe, what's up?
Sorry, Joe, go ahead.
I'm sure this has been covered before, but when you do the searches and you find, so say somebody says, hey, you need to go buy GIB, and I go and there are multiple GIBs across the world. Let's use a different one. Let's say token C, and there are 35 token Cs, and there's one that is legit and the one people are talking about. Is there a vetted list or an order or alert or anything, any guardrails for that? Or are we gonna see everything? Like for example, when I use First Ledger and then go through my Joey wallet and I'm looking for tokens when people are talking in DGen hours about tokens. Sometimes there'll be 4 or 5 and I have no clue which one. And it'd be nice to see things isolated without having to do a bunch of in-depth research. Is
more
that
research.
a possibility?
Yeah, I could definitely see us adding some sort of guardrails right off the bat. Orbit's never going to be hosting or displaying every token. We're only offering support currently for HBAR pools. That may eventually change when we expand and integrate Silk Suite, since their infrastructure is built on pairing with their own token.
And that's what I meant. So if you go through First Ledger and my Joey wallet. It's all XRP tokens that have launched there, but there might be 6 of this,
Yeah,
the
there might be
copycat
totally some
tokens.
some
Yeah,
dupes. Yeah,
yeah.
we are categorizing them and filtering them by their size. So at no point should a scam token be above a token that's bigger than it. Like for instance, like a USDC pool with millions of dollars, or not USDC. That's not a good example, but we'll use Gib again. Like the Gib V1 and V2 pool are likely going to remain the biggest liquidity pools for that token, even if someone were to make a scam Gib token. That being said, we probably will still display everything that pops up. That also being said, there's nothing stopping us from removing bad actors. That does kind of turn us more into like a centralized gatekeeping thing, but there's absolutely a middle ground there for us to add some guardrails, and that could be something simple like just a border around the pool when you're searching it to identify, hey,
Yeah,
this is a
and
legitimate
that's
pool.
yeah, that's what I told, Sloppy from First Ledger. I'm like, "You don't have to eliminate anything, just let me know what the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
let me know the one that people are actually, interacting with and that has liquidity."
yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely sharing sentiment there. We want to do our part to make the research intuitive and accessible, meaning that the user searching within Orbit doesn't have to then go and question, well, is this the real token or not? Um, I come from a time in crypto where I do see innate value in forcing good practice, like do your own research, meaning sure, we can add guardrails and we can make that intuitive, but at the same time, the user should be in the habit of pasting the contract address. And I don't want to. This has been a really big concept for me throughout the years I've been on Hedera, where it's one train of thought to build in an adoptable way, but are you actually hurting the network's brain power by like quote unquote dumbing it down too much? Um, Orbit's in a kind of great position because we're not, I don't, at least at this point, our goal isn't to be the first stop that someone hits when they come to the network. The first stop, or for a user 0 or user 1, should always be the wallet. Let's say it's a user transferring from Coinbase or a centralized exchange into the network. That's the first stop, is into the wallet. Typically, then the next stop is a DEX, so that you can then swap the native asset for the broader range of assets available on the network. We're, as Orbit, what we're kind of always going to be building out in the sense of an R user that we're building for is the user that comes after that, meaning that user has spent time on the network, they're looking to do more with their HBAR, and then we kind of provide just more data and more information when trading, because that user might want more information that's available on dexes typically. So yeah, we're in a sweet spot where we, because we're not building for the user 0, the brand new person to the network, we can make design choices that, speaking back to what I said about not dumbing down crypto, we don't have to do that. Now, there's obviously various things that we do align with, whether it be Magic Link email sign-in. I have my own opinions that I've talked about in regards to that and how it steps away from kind of the spirit of crypto and remaining anonymous. But knowing the trajectory of adoption, knowing for years that the average person is never going to have to understand what a seed phrase is. That's just the way that these things are going. I don't think I know, as you know, we're building Orbit and I can more or less control this. We're never going to get rid of wallets and seed phrases because again, that's like what I'm passionate about. But we will offer on ramps and ways for people that have never interacted with seed phrases or don't dive that deep into crypto and don't want to maybe understand crypto that well. We're going to offer a solution for both. So back to what you were saying, yes, I think a guardrail system for the search engine, totally doable. It doesn't have to be something centralized or gatekeepy. It could just be a little visual signifier that we add that lets users know, hey, this is the legitimate pool. Or it could even be easier than defining what's legitimate, but rather putting a warning sign on tokens that are really small, right? Like if it's a duplicate that is kind of being disingenuous, we can just flag that and say, hey, this, you know, this token size is pretty small. Are you sure this is the token that you're looking to buy? I'm not going to do that with a pop-up. We're definitely pretty passionate about keeping clicks as little as possible within app. But yeah, absolutely. There's ways to navigate that in deeming what token is the correct token that you're looking for sure.
Yeah, and it I've been around a while, and it it's with time I figure it out. But a lot of a lot of it is degeneracy, and somebody's like, "Hey, this is hot right now," and then I go look, and I'm like, "Oh shit! Now I got to do 5 minutes of research to figure out which one they're even talking about." Um,
Totally.
so yeah, a lot of it's more more for more for speed and laziness than centralization
No,
from my
no,
end.
I'm lined up with you. It's at its core, it's a speed and efficiency thing and intuitive researching when you're using an app like this. So it definitely aligns with goals for Orbit, and we'll make it happen. I think that's kind of it. I've been rambling about what we did last night and what's coming for Orbit this month. Phil,
Yeah.
what's going on with HashPack?
Yeah, that's awesome ramblings, man. I mean, housekeeping is really important, especially like when you're nearing the end of the year. That's what we've been crafting also for the last 6 weeks, also, I would say. Especially we had a bug with Android 16, also with users needed to log in and reback for the T phrase and whatnot. So Pluto shifted. I think he shipped it on Monday, so it should be resolved by now, but we're still working on it. There's still two stuff potentially we're going to be shipping by year's end, hopefully, if not really early January, hopefully so. Afterwards, just keep on supporting people. I would say that's because there's a lot. Like again, we can talk about it because of course Wendy posted about it, and I feel it's right on trend as to like the market sentiment right now is not really at its best. It's not all time high, but the sheer amount of innovation, great news, and whatnot is really good. So yeah, just keep on showcasing our partners, our friends, those who are supporting us, man. And case in point, everyone who's in attendance right now. Erdling Shady, 8-Bar All In Higher Grounds, Cosmic Wrapped, Fly, Ali, 8-Bar for Life, Abdul. It's just keep on supporting those who support you at the same time while lifting the ecosystem up as high as possible. Of course, part of my job also is to keep both ears on the ground, right? Trying to figure out as much pain point as I possibly can throughout this grassroots community and culture that we love. How can we alleviate those problem statements for folks who are using Hedera's main interface? Also, is part of my job and who I am also out of here. So yeah, I mean, it's been really a lot of that in the last month, couple weeks even. We're also organizing You in the Know for that. And maybe hopefully you can co-host if you will too. We're also
Oh
organizing
yeah.
an end of the year show, just a party, right? Just a party, just to spaces, of course, on X. It's going to be December 18th, between 5 p.m. Eastern time and 7. So 2 hours just to run up the show with friends, family. Everyone's welcomed, of course. I've started sending out invites, but by all means, if I ever forget about you, absolutely come up. And hopefully everyone can grab the mic, say their piece, what's 2025 been about, what 2026 potentially will be also for you, what's on the menu for the holidays, stuff like that. So yeah, if you ever support us, any one of our partners, friends, if you lifted up the ecosystem, just by all means come up. December 18th, that's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, best believe Orbit and Juno's going to be there too. So yeah, they're friends. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely gonna be there. It's probably we've got our team spaces that we're planning on the 15th. I was gonna get to that later in the hub today, but I'm excited for our team spaces. But in terms of like a nice holiday cozy spaces, I'm really looking forward to what HashPack's doing on the 18th. It's kind of what I'm personally most excited for right now.
Appreciate you. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, the 15th you said for the Orbit space, yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern time, I think. So noon your time.
Yeah, noon our time. We'll be announcing it and
Okay.
disseminating more legitimately than just word of mouth in the hub. But yeah, that's coming. That's a good segue for the next thing. So we pushed meme job integration to Orbit probably close to a month ago, and we wanted to get various things kind of cleaned up. Definitely the charting that we had needed to get better. So we pushed a bump to charting, and it's looking more spick and span now. So we are communicating with the meme job team. It's looking like we're us and them are going to be doing a joint space right after next week's hub on Friday the 12th. I think it's about 30 minutes after the hub's going to end. We'll be doing kind of our unified push for the integration that we brought in, bringing them into orbit. Looking forward to that. And I went ahead and shared the marketing video that we'll be putting out on that day. It's pinned in the hub right now if you want to take a look. And I will say this too: just because we're putting out a marketing video does not mean that's the finished product. We're just in beta, and anytime that we do something relatively "quote unquote" big, we're probably going to put a little bit of effort in and make a video to showcase it, because it's kind of not that much effort. And in my opinion, more people on the network should be showing off their development like that. So just because we're making a beta video or a product feature video or a software as a service video, it's not the finished product. We know we got to do more. It kind of goes without saying, and yeah, it's not going to stop us from putting out videos.
Yeah, that's part of the game, but that's also a great way to be gathering feedback, especially when you want to showcase a product or features a new one, especially if you're still in beta. That's good, because at the same time, people are going to have expectations on both sides of the aisle, if I can call it that way. But that's good. That's good, man. You're going to know right away, and people got to also manage expectations as, this is also to be bringing hype and showcases as to what the brand can do and the product can offer down the road. But yeah, videos really, it's a banger. I really love it. It's really nice.
It's a good practice. I think, us making the decision to do marketing videos very early on into our development, it sets the precedence. Like, it's going to be something that we never stop doing. The quality of the videos will go up as we get more resources and all of the good stuff, but just the general tone that we have of marketing what's happening, that probably won't ever stop. And we're feeling pretty good about that.
Higher. Absolutely love it.
Absolutely higher. So I think that really does kind of encapsulate everything going on with Orbit. I guess I could talk about like our approach to development while we've been, kind of running around like chickens with our head cut off. We've been pushing features to live, then we let it sit for a couple weeks. We get user QA, we get user feedback. Then we decide to put out the video when we're happy with it, and when we push user suggestions and fix and clean up the feature that we've put to live. That may change as we get more organized. We may start sitting on features internally, possibly opening up beta access, whether it's gated behind NFT holders or eventually the Orbit token. It might allow a different flow, whereas we're not just putting something out, then getting user feedback. We're actually not putting it out, but we're still getting feedback and optimizing it before we put it live. And there's benefits to that for sure. Surprise and delight is the big one, because then we can roll out a feature update with a marketing video and ideally like a marketing push on socials all at the same time, rather than putting a feature live, putting it out for a couple weeks, and then marketing it weeks later. They both work. One's just a little bit more probably uniform and standard.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's this there's like a time frame, of course, and you guys been like absolutely crushing it so far. I feel like there's a clean like time frame as to how you can push things and press on buttons where it feels like people are like, wow, the ball is rolling. It's doing the snowball effect in between, like when you drop the news, when you ship the thing, and when you actually want to keep the flow of activity rolling around it and creating a narrative also around it. The timing is paramount, and yeah, for sure, you guys will keep on clutching it. Yeah, I'm confident.
Thank you. Yeah, on my personal Twitter yesterday, kind of made a very vague alpha tweet, intentionally vague.
You have.
We're not looking to it. I mean, it's all going to get revealed early 2026 when we put our roadmap out. But until then, we're not necessarily showing all our cards and what we're planning to bring to the network quite yet. So it was intentionally vague. But that being said, because of this, it's not like it's just a temporary thing with Axelar. Axelar is just the assets that it supports right now is very limited. I think right now it offers cross-chain bridging with Sauce, and we're looking to do cross-chain bridging with some other stuff that's not supported yet. So we're just waiting for them to push an update. We're in communications with the Axelar and Squid Router team. They're keeping us up to date on when to expect that. But our backend is hungry, and we're not going to pay him to sit around. So he's just pivoting to the next thing on our roadmap. And when he'd put about 5 days into it, and then yesterday I was kind of sitting at home and I was like, we should probably tell Bonzo that we're doing this with them, because I'm pretty sure Brady told us to reach out if we're ever utilizing them. So I DM'd him on Telegram and let him know the use case that we're building up. And the feedback I got was super validating. He's very excited. He thinks it's an amazing use case. He's really appreciative that we're considering them for the functionality. And honestly, there's kind of no one else on the network that could allow us to do something like this. Right now, it's targeted for Q2 of next year. If Orbit and Warlock are moving ahead of schedule, it could totally happen sooner. But right now, Q2 on that integration is what it's looking at. And again, come early 2026, the Orbit roadmap will kind of get disseminated, and our plans for what we want to build next year will be revealed. And we've known, like, we've had this roadmap done since probably like September, late October. So we've been sitting on big things for quite some time, but the network has no idea, and that's really exciting. So that's all going to be happening soon.
Oh, the mystery. So Q2 is going to be fun. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the whole year for us is going to be fun. I think right now, Orbit is in a very unique position where a lot of people still don't quite understand what we're cooking, and that's totally okay. We know what we're cooking, and it'll all come soon. And I think the value prop and use case of Orbit, as we push and deliver each feature after the next, the whole vision for what we're doing and the economy and the ecosystem that we're building, it's all going to kind of fall into place. And I think a lot of people's heads are going to like click. They're going to be like, oh, I get it. And that's great. You know, me and Koza and a couple people at Orbit, we've all kind of been talking amongst ourselves as if, not as if, but the reality that what we're building with Orbit is probably at least 6 months ahead of where the current sentiment and current brain power is on the network. The network hasn't seen something like this, and we know that. That's why we're building it.
Big hype.
But totally big hype. It's gonna, what that translates to, just setting expectations, is slow adoption. If something's new and people have to learn how to use it, or they've never been exposed to it before, that innately takes more time to get adopted. We're not turned off by that. If anything, we're excited to do that because we're stepping into a void with essentially no competition, and it's just really exciting. So 2026 is kind of going to be our year, I think. We're all very passionate and supercharged at Orbit for it, and we're looking forward to it. But I think with that, we could probably transition into Hedera happenings. Maybe start with the Hashgraph Online DAO points. I was listening in on that Spaces with you guys recently.
Yeah.
It's rad stuff. It's like, from what I gathered, it's essentially points. It's an arbitrary system, but it's rewarding users for participating throughout the entire network, and that's a great thing.
It's insane. It's insane. Again, you know, those points, you know, came about, you know, remember the BTC Ordinals days back in March 2023, I believe, where there was like the first very big like conversion into the mind share of folks from Hedera, folks from Bitcoin also, that really sparked like a lot of ideas and core concept with both Pi and Cantor. And yeah, I think, you know, when the HTS 20 points, you know, were born, I mean, the total idea for it was to go beyond like what's the intrinsic value of it, like post the markets, and how can we use them through compliance and be having fun with it. And Cantor has absolutely nailed it. I think I know, because that's engagement. That's really good. If you're interacted with the ecosystem in no matter ways, especially through Hashinals, you're going to be rewarded with points. And through points, you know, it's this huge platform through SocialFi. You can have a profile on there. Every time you've interacted with Hashinals, you've sold one, you bought one, you create a collection, I think is also coming up. So it's yet another way to spin the contact and narrative as to what the network can offer, but also rewarding you with stuff where you can boast a little bit about it. And I really believe in that. I really do believe that, you know, this is going to go beyond Web3, of course, like through Hedera, but it's fun because you can showcase it now also. So big shout out to the Hashgraph Online team also being pioneers on there.
Yeah, Cantor is a legend. The guy's been around so much or so long, and just kind of continues to be like a very forward-thinking player on the network for kind of all of us. And he's definitely tackling, him and the Hashgraph Association are tackling areas that, again, nobody else is tackling for really strong reasons.
Yeah, it's just, again, just unlocking ways and new paths of just like seeing how's the ledger going to be going forward, and especially through this new wave of adoption that we're going to potentially see in the next couple of months, and hopefully less than that even. So it's and through AI, of course, through all the use cases that we've been crafting so far with A12 desktop also, which is absolutely crazy. Just ways to streamline the sheer amount of information that's happening right now, especially on the algo right now with AI agents and whatnot. So yes, I'm really happy for them and for us also, because that's a great product that's going to keep on giving, in my opinion.
Yeah, he approached us months ago, kind of letting us know about the dashboard and ways to get Orbit integrated into the dashboard, whether it be through an agent or type of API stream that we build out for the dashboard. And it's definitely something on our mind. We just have an ungodly amount on our plate for 4 people. So like when we can get to it, we totally will. But it is going to get pushed down the road for now. But that does not discredit what they are building. I think it's an amazing tool, and the dashboard itself is badass, like a one-stop shop for so many different parts of the network.
Yeah,
It's really valuable.
Yeah, no, it is, and again, he keeps on pushing this narrative just to, and you've been to the space, Hedera XAI every Thursday at noon Eastern time, where again, just keep on bringing awareness as to AI stuff, which is another key point where we can talk about later on during the show, if you will, where data privacy is also paramount, especially right now where we're just all having fun with AI through various angles and types, through content creation, to vibe coding, but at the same time, keep on pushing this narrative of how to be. To have proper tools, I would say, to navigate through that, and especially since it's been accelerating in this space right now. So again, I don't know how he does it. His mind is over 9,000. He must have like 9 screens. Oh,
I would not be surprised. It's definitely his like domain, right? Like he's owning that department, and it shows.
Oh yeah. That's his. Yeah, I mean, yeah. He's on there. So yeah, big shout out to him. Again, genuine builder has been here since the jump, and mad respect.
Yeah. We saw Brian Armstrong and Larry kind of communicate to the broader public that tokenization is the future. And I think a handful of us on Hedera for years now have seen that kind of be the trajectory of society and the world as we know it, with a lot of things getting tokenized for pretty obvious reasons that, again, we all know because we've been on HBAR and that spoke to us years ago. So just pairing that with the kind of constant stream of what feels like institutional adoption of crypto right now. It's just more support that crypto overall kind of is in a pretty not set in stone, but the trajectory is clear, it's tangible, and that's just exciting. I think for anyone that's currently in crypto, it's validating.
It is. It truly is. And again, that's another showcase and news that, way back in the day, you've been around since even longer than me, I think. Whereas, in 2018 or even 2021, man, just this picture, like, would have sent us like to just heaven in terms of like views, engagements, and whatever. Like, we would have surfed on that news for like 2 years.
Yeah, that would have been the narrative of like the network that everyone else would understand.
Yes,
totally.
Yeah. So, but that's good. So. And so goes life, it evolves into all sorts of things. And right now, like, the mind share is at a different place. Like, everyone who's still here right now is absolutely going to win. And by win, I mean like attention, I mean use cases, I mean well positioning yourself where there's opportunities where you can grow and benefit your whole entire family. And that's great news for us. Tokenization is going to be absolutely ruling the world. It just makes sense. And that's a clear validation as to what we've been saying, crafting and honing, like in the last 4 years, 5 years, 6 years plus. It just makes sense. Makes sense from a retail perspective. Maybe it makes sense also from an enterprise perspective per that picture. So yeah, it's crazy fun to see that.
Yeah, touching on what you said, like with crypto being around 13, 14, 15 years now, we've all been in it. Maybe not for as long as that, but we've been in crypto. That I know a handful of people in this crowd feel like they are not early because of how long they've been in crypto, but the insane reality is that we are still early. And I know that sounds like a buzzword at this point, but it's kind of not. Like, we're just now seeing nations and institutions start to play and get their feet wet in crypto, and that's never been done before. Do we know the payout or the turnout from these things yet? No, but it's because it's unprecedented. We've never seen this happen before. So I'm not going to be critical of that quite yet. What's up, Joe?
Yeah, that.
Ooh.
Sorry, had a call coming in. That brings me to the point of Bank of America going in today or this week with allowing their investment bankers to put 1 to 4% of investments into crypto. And Bank of America has always been kind of an early adopter with everything. They were the first, I believe, to have online banking, and they were the first to have instant transfers. So I I think that's coming from the industry. It's a really really good sign. Um, my buddy's the VP of a bank, small bank out of Georgia, and I need to reach out to him and ask him what if he knows what they're doing for uh, their stablecoin or crypto adoption, and just try to get a feel for what other U.S. smaller banks are doing. Because at this point, I feel like globally, there's way more businesses and segments and industries that are already employing people to research and develop on Web3 um, that we don't realize, and that's to echo the fact that you say we're so very early. That there are people that run some of these large companies and industries that will absolutely need some integration into Web3 that they couldn't tell you any chain anywhere. And
Right.
when you're that early, that's a big positive in my eyes.
No, I think that's really well said, and kind of in a different angle too. I think a lot of us have been looking at the governance council and use cases, and I've never subscribed to the camp that you should sit on your hands and wait for the governance council to make you rich. That's kind of delusional, in my opinion. It could totally happen, but if that was your game plan for the last cycle, I don't think it worked out for you. Meanwhile, a ton of opportunity on Hedera did exist in the last cycle, and I hope you were proactive with that. But what I'm getting to is that in my limited understanding, it doesn't surprise me if a lot of use cases they didn't necessarily hit a wall, but a company can really only push it and definitely push it live when their payment rails are supported, like their Web 2 payment rails are supported. So I think as we have an administration finally that is allowing and kind of taking the caution tape off of crypto rails, and we're seeing major institutions like Bank of America and Vanguard start to play ball and be able to process and custody crypto. These enterprise payment rails, I definitely see that changing if not already, and it wouldn't surprise me if we do start to see some bigger announcements about use cases that have probably been in the works for 3, 4, 5 years, kind of finally going live. And that's super exciting for the people that do want to see those use cases go live.
It's a good time to be here. That's 100%. I totally agree.
Moving on to the next thing, I think this is kind of something me and Koza have been talking about with the Crypto Wendy tweet, kind of about her tracking the impact of X as a social media platform, and
It's
is
crazy.
mindshare,
Yeah.
is mindshare moving off of X onto different platforms, whether it be YouTube or different social media outlets, and what that can do for us building and people trying to promote their brand and reach bigger audiences. I don't think X is going to lose dominance in the crypto world anytime soon, but um, adding to your networks that you market on. I thought it was really just kind of insightful information to see, hey, X kind of maybe isn't remaining the place to be for people to receive information, and where else are people looking? I think that's a huge benefit for people building to start thinking about the other places where they can tap into to let people know about what they're building. And Koza, if you have any thoughts on that, he might not even be able to talk right now. I don't know.
It's is he on?
I don't know. I
Okay,
think he's
okay,
muted right
okay, okay. But yeah, I mean, it's very good. And by the way, I encourage everyone to follow each other's account also on different platform. I know you guys are very much present on Reddit. We recently also opened a page for us over Facebook because it just makes sense, right? Because as you say, that's powerful insights as to seeing where the key metrics are absolutely going, because it really tells you where the market is, where people are focusing attention, where are they putting their eyes upon. That's really interesting because that's a new audience at the same time. That's potentially new users, and the conversion could be really great because again, that's folks who potentially maybe never touched what we call a wallet, Web3, crypto stuff. That's really cool because again, when we keep on focusing on what are the experiences that we can give them that they cannot have anywhere else, aside from what we call Web3, without telling them that it's Web3, that it's crypto, that it's seed phrase, that it's the whole nine, you win instantly. And that's where it really becomes to be interesting. And I think that what Wendy's showcasing in terms of staff is really right at the heart of that. As I'm seeing Koza back on stage right now, where it just makes sense as to you need to be speaking to different audience, and sometimes the flavor is going to be a tad different, right? Often we were making jokes on the team where when we're making posts, when they're on LinkedIn, the flavor is not going to be the same, of course, because the audience is different. Same thing for X, the meme game, needs to be strong at that on X too, especially if you're playing the reply guy stuff. But at the same time, Facebook is there for a reason also, and there's a clear showcase that right now there's interest and people are looking and showcasing interest, whereas on X it seems to be diminishing returns in terms of attention. So yeah, big shout out to whoever's crafting and gunning at different socials right now. I think the time is right.
Yeah, well said. Joe, is your hand up or is that lagging from
It's
earlier?
just lagging.
Okay. Well, Koza got rugged or something, so that's fine. He might join. And he might
Yeah,
have something to say.
X is
Oh, there
turbo.
he is.
If he's on desktop, it's tough.
It's pretty trife. Elon still hasn't quite figured that out, even though he's a billion dollar company. I don't know. It's pretty inexcusable at this point, and we all just have to suffer with it, I guess.
Mic check. Are we good now?
Hey.
Yo, what's up?
All right, cool. New microphone. Just had to adjust a couple settings real quick. But no, I really found that tweet kind of fascinating, and I think one of the big things that I really kind of thought about when I came across that and threw it on Juno's lap was it's not just where we're absorbing this information from, and it's not just trying to diversify where those streams are, but it's how we consume that information and what those platforms really specialize in. X and formerly Twitter has always kind of specialized in this micro blogging esque relay of information, where platforms like YouTube, TikTok, they're a lot more visual. They hit the brain a different way. They capture the audiences in different methods. Where here it's really easy to build communities based on this kind of faceless trust that the crypto space is known for. And to Juno's point, I don't believe that crypto Twitter is going anywhere. It's as strong as ever. It's strong, if not as strong as it was back in 2021. 2022, right around then, and even before then, it was kind of discussions on Clubhouse and things of that nature before Spaces really got its big hit, right? Um, but now we have a whole new era of infographics, that go from this kind of static state, in this state where people are really just kind of discussing and talking about them, to actually experiencing the content. With the surge of live streaming, for instance, I'm a streamer. I stream a few times a week. Most of it's not in the remotest way crypto related. But I understand how those kind of communities come together based on like what they're able to experience, not just what they're able to read or what they're exposed to from these larger accounts that are in these communities. So I'm kind of curious, and I mean, before I even kind of go into that, I think our AMA that we did on Reddit was a real testament to seeing, and it was just kind of eye-opening to our team that crypto activity can be so prevalent in places outside of crypto Twitter, where we've been kind of chilling and operating for the past 5-6 years. But I am kind of curious, to members of the community, to projects that are here, yourself, Phil, if you wanna chime in. Where do you get your crypto information? If not crypto Twitter, where are you going to kind of deep dive into things like new projects, happenings within the space, happenings within the ecosystem?
That's interesting. I gotta say that where my mind goes on that, like more and more, is to focus less on crypto and more on the experience. And broadly speaking, as to like like the research right now for me is absolutely different than what it was, say, in 2021, last year, or even 6 months back. It really changed because I'm seeing like I was mentioning like problem statement and alleviating pain points earlier, and that's where my mind goes oftenly right now as to whether that's for any of our partners, any of our friends, even for us. Like how can we help you, albeit the tech? Like let's just talk about, okay, that's your vertical. You're having fun in this. Okay, cool. Do you know that you could accelerate in that lane? Okay, cool. How? Yeah, here we go. It's just so research has been good also, but in lanes where tech isn't necessarily like the first motor front, but also where how can small businesses also can scale up in ways that they didn't think about or way that they don't know yet that can make sense to that, whether that's to be non-custodial, to be sending funds, to be holding assets, to be collectibles, this whole thing. So yeah, I would say like the research is really different in terms of it's not entirely focused on crypto, but much more around businesses and how can we bridge those worlds, because really I feel I know that we're coming up to an intersection. Potentially 2026 could be the year of like the intersection. I'm not saying mass adoption, but it's definitely looking like it's going to keep on accelerating. So my research is really on there as to, okay, no matter Web 2, Web 1, Web 4, Web 3, how can I potentially alleviate your pain points with our partners or us? That's been a huge part of my research recently.
For sure, and couldn't agree more. I think we've definitely, if we kind of take things back to small business and the relations and the parallels that we can kind of draw with why we're all here, and even in spaces like this, um, we've seen a huge shift in the past, I would say 2 or 3 years, where even the most mundane businesses kind of take on almost an entertainment role. And that's kind of done wonders for something that's as prevalent to what we're doing here now, which is this kind of community building and just kind of spreading of ideologies, this mind meld that we kind of have going on, whether that's between products, between individuals, between problems and solutions. I see it evolving, and I really think like over the next few years, and even if we kind of bring it outside of the crypto space and into something that I think we're all familiar with. Juno and I were just having this conversation in a call shortly before this, but we were talking about how the Netflix Warner Bros. Acquisition, and we were talking about remember when there was physical TV guides that we had to go kind of uh, seek out in order to see what was coming on TV this week. And then it kind of transformed into the TV Guide channel that would just endlessly scroll. And then, we'd have 700 channels, but we would only pay attention to 6. A lot of those can kind of be, like we can kind of relate to that as a small business, as a crypto project, as a growing platform in the ecosystem. It's all kind of the same. It's really about just kind of keeping up with the times and not discrediting the new, even though maybe once, because like I mean back in 2021, if you were to tell me, hey, you were getting your information or your community was solely existing on TikTok, I probably would have just turned my nose up at it and be like, oh well, you're not on Twitter, there's no credibility there. But nowadays, it's that dynamic is shifting. The way that people are intaking information is dramatically different from 10 years ago, and I imagine that today it's dramatically different from what it'll be 10 years in the future. We're always trying to think ahead of where everybody's paying attention to now, trying to incorporate the next best thing and make sure that we're staying relevant in all the right places. And that's just kind of what you have to do operating any business these days. So, but very well said, very well said.
Yeah, legends. All right. Just kind of like just stay remaining forward thinking about who you're tapping in with. That's kind of the biggest thing and the biggest kind of boon, I would say. For a lot of people, it's maybe siloing themselves into. I use the term echo chamber quite a lot in a lot of different parts of my life, but personally, I do everything I can to not sit in echo chambers because I kind of feel like they limit your personal growth and your company's growth for sure. I think last thing, we got the fuzzy search for a changelog update from Orbit, and then Earthlings. We've got some Earthlings news that was pinned.
Yeah.
What's going on with Earthlings?
So, testing sign up ends today if you have a Founders card or an Early Earthlings card. Um, you may still be able to. I don't know if they've closed it, but go to the post, fill out a form, and we're going to have 25 first testers selected. And I think they'll go in, get an access pass, and then be able to go walk around and check out the city. A lot of things still being built. It's not like you said. We're still building, but we wanted people to be able to go in and take a look around and check out the the buildings that they may own on the map and see that it's real and we really have a great product coming. So there's you're not going to be able to steal a car and go on a joyride yet, but you will be able to go in and check out everything that's going on in the city. That's the step for now, and then I talked to the team and we finalized some really cool, fun stuff for when we open it up for the next round of testing. So we'll probably have some cool prizes to be found, obviously some tokens, but I think we're gonna uh, drop some fun new stuff that people can go on a scavenger hunt and find when that opens as well. So we're really, really excited about it. All you need is a PC. We've really baked in for anybody that knows much about gaming. We've really baked in everything in the game so that you don't have to have a super fast gaming computer to play. You'll be able to play with a moderately mid-level PC. And what we're seeing now is 60 plus frames per second almost everywhere. um, some of the big games in the world are able to get away with 30 because people are so entrenched in those games they don't care about that super high quality. But we feel like for us being new and just coming to market, 60 is kind of our benchmark for anything, any section of our game. So really exciting. Team's going full speed ahead. Um, we have a Smack Mosquito update coming soon. I know I've said this for a month straight, but it's my fault. I keep tweaking things and then we'll test and I won't like something and or I'll come up with a new idea and we'll test it again. So the studio's grinding away.
No, I love to hear that, and just the fact that you guys are kind of aiming for 60 FPS is so great. I know, me and Koza were present pretty actively during the metaverse bubble last cycle, and so many big visions were sold to people, and the early concepts that were delivered, like the hardware, not the user hardware, but like the company's hardware and the infrastructure that was available at the time. God, a lot of these metaverses were rough, dude. Like I'm talking 10 to 15 FPS, like it was just pretty bearish, a bearish reality that followed a lot of this kind of hyped up metaverse concept, right? So it's really cool to just been following Earthlings and track their progress, but also hear that, they're dedicated to performance and doing what you guys can do to kind of allow the end user to experience something that feels more like what the metaverse vision was last cycle. I think you guys are nailing it, and I'm really excited to kind of continue to see what you guys push the envelope on.
Yeah, and that's the key. And we want some fun um, gameplay. And I don't want people to be confused. If you're selected, don't go in expecting to play the full game. Just be excited to explore around and use the map. And there'll still be things twisted and tweaked and perfected in the city. But we want fun gameplay. But we also want people to feel like they're home. Like, you go in and like you said, I just didn't get that feel for a lot of the early metaverses, and and you get in and it's lagging. It was just uncomfortable, and
It
and
was
that's
bad.
what we're trying to avoid. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and definitely just giving you kudos to bringing people into like unfinished products. Like nobody should be afraid of doing that. That's how you kind of bring the vision to life for your users, and to build that like, yeah, I'm gonna say vision again, and make it real and tangible for everyone. So definitely kind of excited to hear more feedback about how that playtest goes.
Wonderful. I don't I don't know if we'll have anybody sharing anything from there, but we'll see.
Yeah, even just like have someone internally, right, capture something, and then you could put it out with the release or the follow-up for the playtest. I think that's great.
Yeah, we'll probably do, Brandon's been a great advisor for us since the very beginning and a big supporter. We'll have him in there and maybe let him get some footage to show.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right, guys, we're coming up on an hour for the hub. I think a good thing to close it out is kind of immediately what's coming in the next week for us at Orbit. We're going to be doing our meme job marketing push on the 12th. That's going to be 30 minutes after next week's hub. And then on December 15th, we're going to be doing our team spaces. We've been talking about doing the team spaces for quite some time. It's going to be an opportunity for you guys to talk to our engineers, kind of ask the more seedier questions, or maybe even high level abstract, visions and goals and why we're doing things the way that we're doing. We're going to be going over our Reddit AMA questions that were asked over on Reddit. We're going to be going over a couple of the questions that were asked in our Discord, and then I'm envisioning us inviting people up once we get through the questions to then kind of turn it more into a conversation between you guys and our team. And that's what's coming in December. And then shortly after that, we've got the HashPack holiday spaces on the 18th.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun for us. We're still cooking. Hopefully, we can ship the latest stuff because the whole team is absolutely like in the kitchen right now. Hopefully, in the next by year's end, I would say, if not really early January. Also, there's 4 seasonal themes that are up for grab in our hash store. That's really good. Pin post also, of course, with the HashPack card potentially coming up, maybe, hopefully, right? Keep on giving us some great feedback. You guys have been absolutely outstanding so far. That's great feedback on how you would use this card. And yeah, as Juno said, ecosystem-wide, super space. Come and grab the mic, say your piece. What are you going to be eating for the holidays? What are you expecting for 2026? What are you grateful for? Just a huge party, right? Just to be having fun. That's going to be on December 18th. That's a Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. 2 hours is going to be running. And yeah, thanks you guys for being here today.
Yeah, thank you everyone that pulled up. Houdini, Earthlings, Cosmic, Higher Grounds, Shady, Escobar, Fly, Raptex, Skittles, Abdul, Joe, all the friends. Have a lovely Friday and a good weekend. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one, everyone.
Ciao, guys.
Thanks. Have a great one. Thanks for having me up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.